Have you ever thought of a house as a 5-paragraph essay? You heard me right, a house as a 5-paragraph essay. I know this sounds weird, but let's look at the parts of a house and 5-paragraph essay. In the 5-paragraph essay, the first thing you see is the introduction. That could also be the foundation of a house. The foundation draws out your perimeters and boundaries, and the introduction does the same. If in the introduction you say you will be talking about cheesecake, then you can't really talk about penguins, can you? That doesn't make sense. And in a house, you can't build over your foundation. Your house wouldn't be bolted to the ground, and that would be a big problem. Now what about the body paragraphs? Well, that's everything coming up. The walls, the ceiling, the tile floor, anything. The furniture just adds more to it. In an introduction, you can only say what you will be talking about, but not go in detail. But in the body paragraphs, you go in detail. You build up. You talk about extras, like examples, which could be your furniture, and you say your main idea, which could be like your wall color or your walls. Now, we're not here to talk about introductions and body paragraphs, but we're here to tell you about conclusions. Conclusions are the overview of your house. It's what your house looks like at the end. Now, conclusions have to sort of mimic and repeat everything that you already have, your introduction and body paragraph. In your introduction, you have the foundation of the house. In the conclusion, you need to write the same thing. There's still the parameters and boundaries you can go around. And you need to sort of talk about the body paragraph too. If you have pink walls, you can't have blue walls, can you? That wouldn't work. And if you say why cheesecake tastes so good, you should start talking about why cheesecake has pink flowers on it, right? So I'm going to show you a room that has a good conclusion and a room with a bad conclusion. And we'll see the differences. Bad houses, bad conclusions. This is an example. What is the first thing that's wrong with it? Let's take a closer look. This is your fireplace when you first enter in the door. Which sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Yes, but it's not the fireplace, it's the placement of the fireplace. When you open the door, it's going to hit the fireplace and possibly wreck both of them if it's done too many times. In the conclusion, you can't have your transition after what you wanted to say. It has to be before. Right placement is key. Next, the bed. Well, nothing seems that wrong, except for that there's a plant growing in the middle of it. That doesn't make sense either. It adds to the confusion, and it probably wasn't originally there. It's something added in the conclusion. You can add things in a conclusion. If your whole paragraph or your whole essay is supposedly on, let's say, cheesecake, then you can't talk about ice cream in the conclusion. It's new and more confusing. Conclusions are there to help sum up the whole thing, not add stuff. That could be done in your bodies. Okay, so what's next? There is a desk. There's nothing that wrong with the desk, except for the fact that it's sort of messy. Conclusion has to be neat. You can be messy in real life, but your conclusion cannot. It has to be neat and organized in a precise way so that you can easily understand everything. Now we go to the trunk. There's nothing wrong about it, but it is very plain. You need to have enough information to sort of tell your readers what you're trying to say. If you said, what, in your introduction, cheesecake with red velvet is very delicious, then you can't say cheesecake is delicious. You need to still say that red velvet is delicious. So, now let's look upwards from the trunk. You see rugs. That is confusing. It's not in the right spot, and it's messy. As you can see, it covers everything. Same thing with the granite wall and two other walls that don't really match the rest. So as you can see, this house is not very good. Well, now let's see a good house, shall we? A bad written conclusion. example. Here's an example. You need good ordering. As you can see, it can't have new stuff. I like pie. Do you? Be descriptive. This has everything wrong with it. You need good ordering. Well, your transition, as you can see, just came accurate. That's not good ordering. And it can't have new stuff. I like pie. Do you? Well, we didn't talk about liking pie. We talked about cookies, but that was in the introduction. Like how polite. And be descriptive. That is not very descriptive on how to be descriptive. So as you can see, everything is wrong.
It's just totally off the agenda. Taking care of this little problem.
A conclusion is like a house's finishing touches. You need to make your house neat and tidy so you have a good impression on your audience. Like that, your conclusion is the finishing touch to your essay. Conclusions need to be tidy just like your house. The bed needs to be in the right spot and the dresser where it belongs. You should not add new facts to your conclusion or add something that does not belong to your house. Conclusion about conclusions. As you have learned, a good conclusion restates your thesis and sums up your whole essay. You should not add new facts in your conclusion, though you should restate some facts from your body paragraphs, like your furniture needs to complement your walls. The conclusion that you write needs to be tidy, and you summarize the essay so your reader will know what the essay was about. So, do you see the difference?